I can't be born into this world. But that girl lives here. That's why I wonder. My eyes look upon this world again, often coming upon this boring, still world. But she'd appear from time to time. We couldn't understand each other's thoughts. That's why I couldn't see what she meant, and she couldn't see what I meant. But certainly, at that moment, I realized that I've always been waiting for her. She must have been lonely. Except for the girl, there was no one. That was obvious. Here, nothing dies, and nothing is born. That's what this kind of world is what that should say. Again, fan translation, there are issues. That the way that is right now doesn't sound right to me. I think this word, this should be removed and then it'll sound right. And that is why, somehow, she doesn't get tired of watching me. One day, she appeared in front of me carrying many things in her arms. They were of various sizes, but all were junk. I can't help but call them junk. I have no idea how they can be useful. And there she spent quite some time constructing something out of the junk on that spot. How much time has passed, I wonder. In front of her stood a doll half her height. The girl stood up proudly as she faced me. I watched her face, and then I finally realized that body was made for me. But what should I do? I didn't really understand. Is it okay to wish to be born into this world? Am I really wishing for that? Even now, this world frightens me. Nothing lives or dies here. A world that will never progress. But if this is really such a closed world, then my existence should end here. The girl put out her other hand. I saw how bruised and cut it was. It was the only thing that was warm in this world. Before I knew it, I wished for that hand. Now it is the 16th. The warm sunlight of spring, a gentle sunshine and a refreshing breeze. There's plenty of time to get to school. If I keep going at this rate, I can't be late. It's not that I believe Fujibayashi's fortune-telling, but to find out if it's true, I'm walking along this road earlier than usual. Then again, from the point of view of the other students, I might still be running a bit late. There are not many people around wearing the same uniform as me. Anyway, at this rate, I don't think I'll be late. But according to Fujibayashi's fortune-telling, there will be an old lady having trouble crossing the pedestrian lane. And if I help her, I'll be late. An old lady in the pedestrian lane. I glance at the asphalt painted with ladder-looking white lines just ahead. I don't like this. Just ahead of the telephone pole is an old lady with her hips stooped. She glances left and right as if checking for something. No matter how I look at it, it seems as though she can't move from her position. The other students pass by the old lady and pretend not to notice her. Our eyes suddenly meet. It might be just my imagination, but she looks like she's pleading to me. Without speaking, she seems to be saying, "Can't you even help a troubled old lady?" If I succumb to those eyes here, will Fujibayashi's fortune-telling come true? I'm a nice person, so we'll talk to the old lady. I really want to pretend I didn't see anything, but I just can't leave her alone when she's looking at me with such eyes. Perhaps I'm more meddlesome than I thought. I sigh as I walk up to the pedestrian lane. Hey, hostile all of a sudden. Are you gonna cross? She slides her feet as she steps back, trying to intimidate me. As I was saying, are you going to... Make some sense, jeez.
恐ろしい子だよ。若 ドラえもんが年寄りをいじめよ。
This lady is conceited.
ねえ、あれ見て。おばあさん相手にカツアゲしてるわよ。
Yes, because I am definitely mugging an old lady.
あの人3年の不良よ。
Oh, but I thought there were two third-year delinquents. Which one is it?
ああ、なるほど。悪そうな顔してるぜ。
If you ask me, almost everyone looks like a bad person when you first meet them. Especially if you don't even know their name.
誰か人呼んでこいよ。ばあさん殴り殺されるぞ。
Yes, well, it's kind of hard for me to beat someone to death if I don't touch them in any way, shape, and or form. So that doesn't hold much water, if you ask me. Weird. I was just trying to do something nice, yet I've instantly been turned into a villain. While I glare at the curious onlookers, the old lady suddenly moves. Stepping back, she straightens her previously crooked back, but with a quick movement drops her hand to the ground. On the place where she once stood, something is shining, a 500 yen coin. She grabs it before I even have time to blink, and with the speed of a shameful child, she runs off. Hey, it couldn't be. She was glancing about by the pedestrian lane because she was waiting for people to disappear so she could pick up the 500 yen coin? And she intimidated me so I wouldn't snatch it away?
よかった。おばあさん自力で逃げたわよ。絶対に殴り殺されると思ってた。
Again, if I haven't even touched her, it's hard for me to beat her to death. When it comes down to it, I cannot beat people to death with my mind. I would just like to have that be noted.
あの人も意外ととろいんだな。
Uh-huh, yes, and you guys are also surprisingly slow if you ask me.
実は大したことねえやつなのかもよ。
What are you staring at, huh?
こっちに来るわよ。
やべ、逃げろ。
The curious onlookers scatter like baby spiders. I wouldn't know, do baby spiders actually scatter? Damn it. What the hell is with this morning? I'll receive a lot of gratitude and a reward. Fujibayashi's fortune telling is a sham. I was an idiot for even believing it for a second. It's been a long time since I participated in homeroom. Even though I say I participated, I'm just sitting in the classroom not really paying attention to what our homeroom teacher is saying. The bell rings ending homeroom and the teacher in charge leaves. I'll relax before the first period of classes start. We weren't preparing to do anything, so I just spaced out. Fujibayashi was a little hesitant looking at me.
今日は遅刻しませんでした。
Yeah, your fortune telling was off.
はい。よかったです。
Like way off. Thank goodness, aren't you disappointed?
そんなことはないです。
But your fortune telling was inaccurate, wasn't it?
外れた方がいい占いもあった方がいいと思います。
She only thinks that in this case. It depends on what her fortune telling was. There are certain things where she would much prefer it to be accurate, and would consider it a bad thing if it's inaccurate. However, there are other things where she would prefer it to be inaccurate and considers it a good thing if it is inaccurate. Huh. Is that so?
ちゃんと遅刻しないで学校に来る方がいいと思いますから。
Fujibayashi said that and took out the deck of playing cards from her pocket. It seems as though she's going to tell another fortune. The cards scatter over the floor again. Does she have bad hand-eye coordination? I think she does. Because, honestly, I don't know how you can manage to scatter the cards like that when you're shuffling. And, honestly, you could just do it over a desk. Or do it on the desk so that it doesn't scatter all over the floor. But, yeah, you know what? Let's not try to bring logic into this. But today, instead of picking them up, she stares at the cards on the floor.
岡崎くん、明日いいことがあります。
What?
あと、素敵な出会いとかです。
Uh-huh. Wait a second, are you saying you can tell just by looking at the scattered cards on the floor?
はい。
I swear half these things are probably just something that she comes up with off the top of her head when it comes down to it. If I ever meet someone who tries to do fortune telling, I'm not going to believe a single thing they say. I'll listen to them, but I ain't believing it. And I don't need to bait the cards myself this time.
こういう占いなんだと思います。
And what sort of fortune telling would that be, my friend? What do you mean, I think? To begin with, didn't you say, ah, when you dropped the cards?
あれは、秘密の呪文です。
I don't think fortune telling involves spells. That's a bit too secret, isn't it? Alright. So, what do you mean by good?
熱い衝撃です。
I don't know. Specifically what kind of fiery impact, because I think the majority of them would be bad for my health. What do you mean by that?
身も心もリフレッシュできて、怪我のない安全な一日を過ごせるようです。
Be able to refresh your body and spirit. Exactly how will I refresh my body and spirit? I don't really get it.
占いですから。
Okay, audio. Just nothing? Not gonna... You said like one word, okay. A maiden's intuition.
そうです。
That's not fortune telling. That's a maiden's intuition. Then what do you mean by a lovely encounter?
はい。そこのカード。
And which card is that? And are you using a standard deck of playing cards or are you using like tarot cards? It is slightly important. Fujiiwashi was pointing at a card. It was the Queen of Spades. Okay, it is a standard deck of cards, and really, I never would have imagined Queen of Spades for lovely encounter, to be honest.
とても優しい女性と出会います。
Actually, I period wouldn't have imagined any of the spade cards for lovely encounter. I'd have imagined like the heart, the suite of hearts for it. Kind.
はい。優しい人です。
Yeah.
スペードは剣を意味しますので、つまり騎士のような人で、守ってくれる人ということなんです。
So you will essentially saying, I'll meet a kind girl who is a protector, which basically implies that she's protecting me. Okie dokie. Yeah. Okay.
なので、きっと優しい人です。
I don't know. I don't know if that really works. A sword, no matter how I think of it, it means aggressive. It might be a dangerous person. Is today's fortune telling accurate?
占いですから。
AK, we are not liable for any harm that comes from you listening to our fortune telling. We humbly oblige that you do not take it with anything other than a whole pound of salt. Yeah. Not just a grain of salt. A whole pound of salt. It was a questionable answer. Yes, it was a questionable answer. But again, they are not liable for any injuries that occur due to their fortune telling. It's been a long time since I took a first period lesson. Just like homeroom, I don't remember anything that was taught. What's more, my drowsiness has been amplified by a certain painful situation. Should I spend the second period sleeping, or should I leave the classroom and go off somewhere?
うわ、なんであんたがいいの？
As I spaced out, I heard a familiar voice above my head. This voice belongs to...
珍しいわね。まだ朝よ。
Kyo. A familiar face. She's Fujibayashi's Ryo's older twin sister Fujibayashi, Kyo. Yes. Let's just change one letter in the name. That's... We gotta make sure that the names are so similar that you can confuse the names at times. She's one of the few students who willingly talks to me even though I'm labeled as a delinquent. She should be in the next classroom though. Why are you in this classroom?
これよこれ。
And what is this? She shows me an object enveloped by a flower-patterned napkin. It seems like it's a lunchbox. Is that for me?
あんたバカでしょ。なんで私があんたにお弁当あげなきゃなんないのよ。
That's true. It would be strange if she gave me a lunchbox for no reason. I doubt she'd serve me food without poisoning it.
なんか失礼なこと考えてない？
It's just your imagination.
あ、お姉ちゃん。どうしたの？あ、りょう、これこれ。
Fujibayashi approaches us, and Ryo swings the lunchbox she's holding in front of her.
あ、お弁当。はい、テーブルに忘れてたわよ。わざわざありがとう。
What, did they not leave at the same time? Okay. You see, I'd imagine that because they're, sisters, twins, apparently, yeah, I'd imagine that they'd probably be leaving the house together, because I'd imagine they probably live in the same house. Most of these things, families are sort of still, for the most part, happy-go-lucky, so.
別に気にしなくていいわよ。
Why did they not leave at the same time? And couldn't you have brought it much sooner? When it comes down to it? Or brought it at lunch, specifically? Why are you handing it to her?
ん？何が？
I mean, both of you live in the same house, so why are you bringing her that lunchbox? Both of you come to school together, right? Ah, yes, you see! He asks the same questions I wish to ask.
お姉ちゃん、今日少し寝坊したから。
Uh-huh. You should have woken her up.
ギリギリまで起こしていたんですけど。自慢じゃないけど、寝起きはめちゃくちゃ悪いのよね。
I see. Did you struggle?
半目を保って無言のまま動かないんです。
Scary. Huh? But you weren't late, right?
はい。時間が厳しいときは
Wait, they've got a
バ
bus?
スを使いますから。
I haven't heard anything about this. Ah, so you rode a different bus?
私バス嫌い。
You could just walk. So you just came late.
まさかちゃんと間に合ってるわよ。
We got to investigate. Did you run?
まあそんなとこかしらね。ちょっとだけすっごいスピードだけど。
Sped up?
お姉ちゃん、ひょっとしてあれで？りょう、それは内緒よ。
I already know what that is because of my own personal knowledge.
でも、控えた方がいいよ。昨日も人を跳ねたばっかりだし。
Hit?
それはもっと内緒。
I have a feeling she's talking about something really scary. Hey, what are you trying to hide?
別に女の子の秘密をあれこれ探るなんて趣味悪いわよ。それよりあんたの方こそ何なのよ。
What about me?
なんでいいの？
She just said something extremely rude.
ああ、ちょっとはしょりすぎたかな。なんでこんな時間に教室にいんの？
That's a bit better. Why do you think? Because I wasn't late. She becomes silent.
嘘でしょ？
Is it really that rare for me not to be late?
珍しいっていうか、UFO 見る方が確率高いんじゃない？
Oh. You had to bring in UFOs, huh? Oh? It seems my existence exceeds that of a supernatural phenomenon.
あ、ひょっとして昨日の放課後からずっと学校にいたとか？
I don't know how you can come to that conclusion, because I'd imagine there's probably somebody who would go around and make sure the school has been cleared out before they leave.
そうなんですか？
As if I'd do something like that.
じゃあ、実はあんた偽物でしょ。え？岡崎くんじゃないんですか？
That's right, I am not him. Then where's the real one? I sigh and look at the distant sky. I fought my fate today. Kyo, with a slightly troubled face, touches my forehead. I don't have a fever. Don't look at me with such eyes filled with pity. It's facial expression. And don't look at me with contempt either.
どうしろってのよ。
Normally you'd ask, what fate?
もしかして占いのことでしょうか？
Yes. Yes, that's definitely what was wrong, I can assure you that. Yeah, that's right.
ひょっとして寮に占いしてもらったの？
Yeah. Right after I nodded in confirmation, Kyo looks at me with a indecipherable expression. What's that face for?
別に。朝にも占ったの。なんて出た？
Well, looky dookie. Who's gonna say? Oh, she's gonna say. But she's having a hard time trying to get the words together.
あれ？
Kyo? Or is your sister a bird brain? Gah!
なんか言った？
You heard me. That's why you hit me.
思い出しました。
I still think she's a bird brain. At least to some degree.
優しい女の人と熱い衝撃の出
I
会
mean,
い
a
があ
kind
る
girl
ん
with
で
a
す。
fiery Okie dokie. I think you've changed it a bit.
身も心もリフレッシュできます。
I still think you've changed it a bit. And that's it. Like I said, what's that strange face for? Shaking her head, Kyo sighs and puts her hand on my shoulder. Then she nods her head, murmuring to herself. In those eyes are a look of pity and doubt.
頑張りなさいよ。
She's trying to tell me it's impossible. Saying just that, Kyo leaves the classroom. What did she mean by that? I already know what she meant by that. It's pretty obvious, if you ask me.
どういう意味でしょう？
For the short amount of time before the bell rang, Fujibayashi and I pondered it. The second period lesson has started. Wait, did we just skip first period? I think we did. I'm lost in the thought as I listen to the voice of the teacher, like background music. Something surfaces in my memory. It's about the girl from yesterday. It's about the I don't know. I'm kind of curious as to what it's about the past leads to. But I don't know if I really want to select it. Well, I can always play through a second time when it comes down to it, but I don't think I want to. So... it's about the past. The distant past I don't remember. And the recent past that I don't want to remember. It's all dyed with colors of despair. Phew. I rest my chin on my hand and turn my eyes outside the window. I stay like that until the lesson ends. At the same time that the second period lesson ends,
やあ、来てやったぜ。
Sonohara suddenly appears in front of me. What did you come here for?
ゆうべ話したろ？友よって2年の女に勝負を挑むってさ。これから行くんだよ。
So you were serious?
こういうのは初めが肝心なんだって。この学校はそんなに甘くないって教えてやらないとね。ほら、行くぞ。
We'll go and see, and then I'm going to actually cut off the recording.
名前は？
So, save, and I'm actually going to make a separate save. Oh, yeah, gotta hit that, actually, I want a capital P. Give me a capital P, thank you. Okay, And so yeah, I'm going to cut this off here. So see you guys next time I record Clannad, and of course in every other series that exists on my channel. So see you later.